Near the mountains, James is driving his car at a dangerous speed. When he gets distracted for a second, he almost misses the truck in front of him, so he has to make a sudden turn to dodge it and ends up running over some suitcases instead. Mary rushes to pick her things up and James tries to help her, however they aren't fast enough and the bus leaves without her. Her original plan was to go to the city, but now she has no choice but return to her hometown Silent Hill, so James offers to drive her there as an apology. At that moment the wind starts blowing and the clouds move to cover the sun, so Mary explains this is a Silent Hill summer storm. Suddenly Mary appears to be drowning underwater, only for a very drunk James to wake up in a club. His phone keeps ringing, but he ignores it and continues to drink. A waitress tells him it's time for him to go, so James stands up and accidentally bumps into her, causing her to drop some glasses. The bouncer approaches James to kick him out, but James pushes him onto the tables. Then he tries to pick up his ringing phone, but the bouncer grabs him from behind. James headbutts him to get him off, only for two more bouncers to grab him and finally kick him out of the club by throwing him on a pile of trash. The phone rings again, and James finally picks up. It's his therapist M, who is disappointed to hear he's drunk and reminds him that he shouldn't feel guilty. M tells him to go home and rest for an appointment tomorrow. At his apartment, James looks at a painting he did of Mary and her face flashes in his head. He tries to drink more to forget, however his last bottle is empty. He throws it on the floor and watches it roll until it stops next to an envelope with his name. James opens the letter and is shocked to read it's from Mary. She knows it's been a long time since their breakup, but something has happened so she needs him to come to their old home in Silent Hill. James decides to drive to Silent Hill in the middle of the night under a raging storm. When he makes it to the mountain tunnel, he finds it closed. He drives back to the bus station and parks the car to sleep for the night. His dreams are filled with memories of his life with Mary. After he drove her home, they started dating and he decided to stay in Silent Hill with her. Sometimes when they kissed, her nose would drip blood on his face. Eventually they broke up and James moved back to the city, where he became an alcoholic. In the morning, James decides to walk the rest of the way to Silent Hill. After wandering through the woods for a while, he finds fog covering the area and ash falling from the sky. Nearby, a woman named Angela is moving some heavy bags and asks James to help her. He asks about the ash, so Angela explains there was a fire in the summer that burnt down the forest and didn't stop until it rained. The water treatment plant was overrun by the floods and the water got contaminated, so people left the town. James decides to continue his journey anyway while thinking about Mary. When he agreed to move in with her, she admitted that she was worried her true nature would scare him off. However, James promised to always be by her side. After lots of walking, James finally makes it to Silent Hill, which is covered in ash and fog. James starts yelling but nobody comes out. Suddenly he starts hearing music, so he follows the noise until he enters a tunnel where a radio is playing. There's also a blanket on the ground with a person underneath. When James tries to communicate, he hears a noise behind him and the radio stops working. At that moment a hobo jumps out of the blanket and tells James that they're coming back but refuses to elaborate, so James runs out of the tunnel. Then James gets a call from M, but he ignores her scolding because he notices that there's a sign glowing on top of a nightclub.